Hi, boys and girls. I sure do miss seeing you. I'm praying for each and every one of you while we're apart during this time. I bet some of you have gotten so tall, or some of you may have even grown some new teeth. While I'm sure it has been nice for you to be at home with mom and dad over the last few weeks, I also know that you're missing your friends and you can't wait to get back to school. Well, guess what? Your teachers and we can't wait to be back together with you. We miss you terribly too. Did you know that God allowed a man to be separated from his family and friends for a time? This young man loved his family deeply, but his brothers did not feel the same about him. They were so jealous of him because they believed he was their father's favorite son, and they did not like that. In fact, one day they came up with a plan to get Joseph out of their lives completely. That's right, this man's name was Joseph. And while his brothers planned for evil, God planned this time for good. God had great things planned for Joseph, but God did not just give him all of those good things he had for him so easily. Joseph spent many hours alone in slavery. He was even put into jail for things he didn't do. But God had a plan. There was a time of waiting and struggle that God used to grow Joseph and his family before they would be reunited. Take this time this week and watch the story of Joseph at Right Now Media if you haven't already. Mom and Dad can help you to get there. And if you need extra help, your teacher can help you too. You will see that in the times of struggle, fear, and growing that Joseph endured, he learned to trust in the Lord with his whole heart, even though he didn't understand why God allowed him to go through such trials. You see, God uses circumstances to produce periods of waiting in our lives to teach us lessons that he has for us to learn. Sometimes it is hard for us to see God's purposes in the middle of these times, especially if it makes us feel scared, uncomfortable, or even angry. But we must trust in the Lord. I know that school has looked very different for you over the last several weeks. Some of you have probably really enjoyed working on the computers or watching your friends over Zoom in their own homes, seeing some of their favorite things. But others of you, I also know you have really not liked it, and it's been hard. I bet that you've had times when you have felt angry that you've had to do your lessons without being in your classroom, without the help of your teacher there. I bet that you've been sad that you could not be with your friends at recess or even talking to them at lunch. I know it has been hard, but sometimes there are valuable things we must learn, and sometimes we must learn them through a struggle on our own. Things like how important our family is, or to take the time to slow down and worship God simply by enjoying his creations, by getting outside. Maybe it's just that we need to remember God as Jehovah Jireh, our provider, or Jehovah Shammah, that God is there. During this whole time that we can't be together, do you know God is teaching us lessons? Whatever the lessons are that he has for you or for me, for your parents, your family, your teachers, your friends, know this. Know that God loves you and wants you to place your faith and trust in him. He is using these periods of waiting for our good, for us to draw close to him. Be encouraged that God is doing a mighty work in you as you wait on him.